nikikudunga tu lazima utatiama.
Ni wengi. Yani hata yani nasikia hata kulia. Ni wengi sana. Hata bwanangu mwenyewe ni mmoja wa kuuawa.
Any thief, any person who has stolen, anyone who should be given the right treatment, the right justice that is needed.
Jambo la kusikitisha ni kuwa community haitaki kuaccept kama mimi na tatizo la addiction. Kwa mimi ni mgonjwa, napaswa kusaidiwa, sio kuadhibiwa.
It's because the drug users are always linked to crime. So the moment you see a drug user, automatically what comes into your head, this guy, he's a thief. You know, he's just going to mug me, or he's a mkali kwanza, he's carrying a panga or a knife. So already, that is the perception that we've created in our heads.
The big question is, how many are we going to kill? How many are we going to arrest?
The government of Kenya recognizes alcohol and drug abuse (ADA) as a major threat to the life of her citizens and to the national development. Furthermore, the Constitution of Kenya under Chapter 2, Article 26 appreciates the sanctity of life and acknowledges the right of every person to life. Over the last decade, however, ADA has increased in magnitude and threatens to undermine the social, economic and political gains made towards betterment of Kenyans' lives. According to the National Authority for Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, NACADA, the coastal region including the counties of Mombasa, Kwale, Kilifi, Lamu and Taita Taveta are leading in the percentage of persons who use and abuse drugs.
Takwimu zinaonyesha kwamba sasa hapa Mombasa County hali sio nzuri kulingana na mambo ya utumiaji wa madawa ya kulevya. Tuko na vijana zaidi ya 10,000 ambao wanatumia heroin. Kusema ukweli, katika ile survey tulifanya inaonyesha kwamba vijana wengi ambao wameathirika wameanza kuanzia miaka 15 mpaka miaka 40. Hao ndio wameathirika zaidi. Kwa hivyo na pia mkijua kwamba hiyo nimekwambia kwamba ni wale ambao wameathirika zaidi, lakini ni kwamba saa hii tunavyoongea kuna vijana ambao hata chini ya vijana wa miaka 10 wameanza kutumia mihadarati. Miaka 10 ambao hao ni watoto wadogo sana.
It is true and it is a fact that coastal communities are greatly affected by drug abuse. We know that many youth have wasted their lives and are not in any way contributing to the development of their communities. Key being the abuse of drugs within the region. We know that availability of drugs as well as different types being available and at the disposal of our youth have contributed to these issues. We also understand that the lack of action by the authorities, particularly the narcotics unit of the National Police Service, have also contributed to the problem. So the problem is real, the problem is there. As a coastal people, we are suffering a lot from drug abuses, and we need to take action to ensure that we are able to deal with this menace in our society.
A survey done by NACADA finds that 45.2% of residents in the coast region have ever used at least one substance of abuse. Kilifi County is leading in terms of ever use of at least one substance of abuse, standing at 55.9%, followed by Mombasa 51.0%, Kwale 43.3%, Taita Taveta 43.1%, Lamu 40.3%, and Tana River 39.7%.
From the research that NACADA has done, we are very much consistent with, it is much consistent with what we are doing. Programmatically, we have seen these effects. We have seen 10,000 plus users in Mombasa here, the coastal region, they estimate 100,000 people, and this is what the prevalence in NACADA is telling us. So NACADA is giving us the mirror, which is well researched, well informed, and we work closely with NACADA. They are one of our big stakeholders that they give us technical assistance in terms of research, in terms of combining the treatment within the Meritini program that we work with.
With the drug prevalence nature in the country, the continuous circulation of hard drugs within the territories of the country. Experts warn that the situation might deteriorate the gains made towards betterment of the nation. Drug and substance experts will advise to treat drugs addiction as a mental issue and will be most likely to treat as any other disease.
What we need to understand is that being addicted to drugs is a condition. Actually, we say as Haki Africa, it's a disease, just like any other ailment an individual can suffer from. So a person who's addicted to drugs is not supposed to be shunned away. It's the same case as if someone is suffering from malaria or from COVID or from whatever ailment. What they need is medical assistance.
But what does the society say about drugs, drug addiction, and person who use and abuse drugs?
The challenges that we face over time as we are implementing the program is the community, the acceptance of the community. Community are indifferent. Community don't want people to get like drug users. They anticipate drug users to go into prison. The incarceration, they believe in that. But we have tried over years, and we are very happy today to announce that there are processes that we've managed to get the milestone in terms of educating, in terms of giving them knowledge, and also accepting that these people, or our brothers and sisters, need treatment.
Drug abuse, people need to look at it from a different perspective. For many years, we've considered drug addicts as outcasts. We have rejected them, we have isolated them, we have moved them away from society, and we have not played our part as a community to come together to deal with this problem. And that has meant that drug abusers have had to stay away from mainstream society because they've also felt like perhaps they are the problem. But we know that the problem of drug abuse is both the supply and the demand. As long as there is the supply side, there is very high possibility of the demand growing. So for us, from a human rights perspective, we are saying that we must address the drug problem as a health condition.
Drug users are mainly becoming marginalized in their own communities. In Mombasa, some people accused of drug use had been stoned, burned, or murdered in mob attacks.
The society has always had its way to perceive that persons who use and abuse drugs are outcasts and are oftenly associated with crime, terrorism, violent acts, and even violent extremism.
We've seen people taking laws within their hands. They kill, they beat the drug users. They do mob justice. They lock them into homes. This is not right. We say we should support and we should not punish them. These are human beings, these are people. They should be given a second chance in life.
I think this is it's a reality, it's a fact, and we cannot run away from it. Drug and crime, they go hand in hand. And through Kisauni is where we have the largest number of drug users. We have so many juvenile gangs that have been terrorizing each and every person in the constituency. And when you look at these gangs, most of them, they're very young boys who are aged between maybe 9, 12, 10, 11, maybe up to the age of maybe 21. In fact, majority of them, they have not even acquired national identity cards. So even when they are arrested and their fingerprints are taken, still they cannot be linked to any crime because they do not have any form of identification. So this issue has been with us for a very, very long time. And even the largest drug den is in my constituency in an area called Magodoroni. When we took over the leadership of Kisauni, we really tried to come up with some programs and initiatives that could help pull out some of them from that life of crime to be better persons and be accepted in the society. So we even, I've been having serious talks with these people. And when you meet them, you will be shocked. There are some who are fully in drugs, but they're not involved in any crimes, because these hard stuff, they really affect your physique. And some of them, when you meet them, they're very weak. You'll find them, saliva, coming out of their mouth. They cannot even stand properly. They're just dozing off. So such a person, it's very difficult for him or her to get engaged in crime. But we have pockets of people who take advantage of that situation, and they try to come in and mingle with them. So they take advantage and do whatever they need to do. Eventually, the drug consumers or the ones who are involved in this issue, that they're being labeled that the drug users are actually involved in the crime.
Margaret Ngina is a recovering drug addict who has been abusing drugs for over 10 years. Her ordeal in the hands of the community and the police depicts a clear picture of how drug addicts are perceived by the society.
Mimi ni mteja ambaye anaendelea kupata nafuu, yani mtumizi wa madawa ya kulevya ambaye naendelea kupata nafuu kupitia dawa zile za kupunguza zile ya rosto ama hangover ambazo zinatuumiza sisi kama watumiaji mihadarati. Sasa unajua ile kubadilika kwangu, mimi ungeniona ya kwanza hata ungenijua. Wengine unaweza sema mpaka hata hiyo jina mpaka sasa inaitwa nyanya. Kwa sababu gani? Nilikuwa unakaa kama mzee, unakaa kama nyanya 1940, kumbe hata hujafikisha miaka ya kuitwa nyanya. Na hata ukiangalia sana mateja wengi ambao tuko nao sasa, wengine mpaka umri tunatoa kabla hata miaka yetu ya kufikisha haijafika. Kwa sababu zile madawa za kulevya tujui tunachanganya gani. Tumeshakula cospam nao kumbe ni ya mawazimu, na sisi hata hatujui. Sisi tunajua ni ulevi tu. Bora kitu yote sisi tunajua ni ulevi tu tuatia. Unaona sasa. Kumbe zingine zinatu affect. Kama mimi na miaka na mikaka hata sikumbuki nyumbani. Kwa sababu nilikuja huko nikiwa mdogo. Nifanya kutoroshwa shule. Miaka yote mimi ni jela narudi. Jela na narudi. Kwanza mteja ana right yake. Hiyo ndio kitu ambayo inatuumiza sana. Na ukikuja kuangalia wanakufa yani kwa mauaji ya laiki, yani tumeuliwa, mandugu zetu wameuliwa wengi bila kosa. Mtu hata hajaiba jamani. Yani wewe kwenda tu wewe tu ni mteja tu. Ukishaonekana wewe hauna maana yoyote. Sijui kwa nini ya watu nini haki zetu. Na sisi pia ni binadamu. Na ndio unapata wengi ambao huwa walikuwa wanatukejeli, wanatutusi. Sasa wengine ndio sasa wameingililia nao. Sasa wengi wakishasikia tu ni mteja tu anapita pale, anammaliza, awe ameiba awe hajaiba. Na kuna sheria Kenya. Hizi sheria watu wazitumie.
Kumbuka kuna rafiki zangu wawili walipigwa mob justice wakauawa, watu ambao walikuwa wanatumia nao. Nakumbuka mmoja ilikuwa eneo la Mwembe Tayari na ilikuwa simuizi, masuala ya deni. Yeye anadai mtu akamsingizia kuwa ameiba. Alipigwa mpaka akauawa kwa sababu ya kudai haki yake. Mwingine najua aliiba. It was only a side mirror tu. Labda ikiwa ni gali it's 2500. Lakini aliweza kupigwa mpaka karibu kuchomwa, lakini katika kule kupigwa kwake alipoteza uhai wake. Kwa sababu nini? Thamani ya yule mraibu haionekani, but ile mira ilikuwa ina thamani hata kushinda ile roho yake. Na ndio mambo ambao yako unakuta watu wanachukua sheria mikononi mwao na hakuna hatua yoyote serikali imeweza kuchukua. Mtu anapigwa mpaka anauawa, but yule ambaye aloua haonekani kama ni mbaya. Yule ambaye aloida side mirror ndo anaonekana mbaya.
Ni machungu unapitia. Waona ndugu yako huyu anauliwa hivi, kama unatazama hauwezi kumuokoa. Ukienda kumuokoa wachanganywa na yeye.
People are significantly more likely to have negative attitudes towards those suffering from drug addiction than those with mental illness, and are most likely less to support their rights, including right to life, right to better health, right to association, and right to fair trial.
Na pia kuna wakati ilikuwa inafika kama wewe ni mteja, isipokuwa sasa bosi wetu Tribe ameenda ameongea nao, serikali ameshawajulisha. Mbele nilikuwa tunachukuliwa kama ungo ukienda kustaki pale. Msichana kama mimi nikarepiwa, niende kustaki au si mteja kwani amjui huyu? Hao ni mateja tu, machokora tu, mateja hao hana mpango wote. Hiyo ndio majina. yetu tumeshazoea tupepewa. Sasa unaona, sasa ukienda kuripoti kuwa wewe umefanyiwa kitu fulani, yako haisikizwi, lakini ule ambaye amekutendea anaweza kusikizwa, wewe ukaekwa ndani ambao umetendewa. Na ule mtenda akaachiliwa, wewe ambao ndio umetendewa ukaingizwa ndani.
From a human rights perspective, we are saying that we must address the drug problem as a health condition. Article 43 of the Constitution of Kenya guarantees every Kenyan the right to health. It guarantees every Kenyan the right to get medical assistance. It guarantees every Kenyan to be provided, whether psychological or physical ailment, to be assisted. And our argument is that drug abuse is a medical condition and we need to treat it as such. So as long as we continue neglecting, as long as we continue considering these individuals as outcasts, we will not be able to deal with the problem.
Also in terms of policy, we have not had good policies in terms of laws that can govern the work that we are doing. In terms of competing issues, you've mentioned the issues of health. There are a lot of health issues that countrywide we are suffering on. The Minister of Health is bombarded with COVID-19. We have TB, we have malaria, with HIV, we have polio, and now we have drug use. It has not been highlighted as one of the problems. So that is also a stumbling block in terms of growth and giving the people opportunity to have treatment or go into rehabilitation.
Drug and alcohol abuse, drug trafficking, and related criminal activities remain serious problems that affect the lives of most Kenyans.
Already we have a law, and in fact the other day the law was amended to make it more punitive on the peddlers, because that is where we need to focus on. The moment you cut on the supply of drugs, then yes, the moment the supply is not there, the users will have now to opt into something else. So we passed very punitive laws whereby a peddler is supposed to be fined so much money, a lot of money, and maybe jailed at the same time. So you can have both, a fine and a jail term. So this is an area, but at the end of the day, you know, we have a judiciary. Parliament has done his work, but we have the police who are the investigators. We have the judiciary that is supposed now to execute that law. So as legislators, we've done enough. We have enough laws. I don't think we need to amend those laws to make them maybe more punitive, because at the end of the day, whatever we have in place, it's enough to curtail this issue of drug and drug supply. But at the end of the day, now we have to look at the other arm of government, that is the judiciary, to play their role. We have to look at the executive, whereby the police falls under the executive, also to play their role, because they have to carry out serious investigations. And sometimes somebody is caught red-handed with the drugs, and he's taken to court. But the judiciary will take a long time, yet the exhibit is there. So this is an area whereby we need the judiciary to up their game so that we can be able to protect our society, because the youth are disappearing, the youth are being messed up, the future is not very promising.
The big question is, how many are we going to kill? How many are we going to arrest? For how long will our police forces make regular and daily arrests?
As Haki Africa and as a human rights organization, we advance all the rights that are guaranteed to every human person. As long as you qualify to be called a human being, then Haki Africa stands for you, and we do everything in our powers to ensure you are able to enjoy the rights that are in the Constitution of Kenya.
Our stand is very clear, black and white, that we stand to support, and we are not torturing, we are not incarcerating, we are not punishing. We stand by the rule of law. We make sure that any thief, any person who has stolen, anyone who should be given the right treatment, the right justice that is needed. But people should not use their hands to kill, to beat, to do mob justice, to eradicate drug users. And we believe that people who use drugs are caring. They are people who have missed out in one direction or another. When they are given that opportunity, they'll be able to go back. And we have burglaries, we have theft all over Kenya. But when drug user is in the scene of that crime, it will be made big. And that is what we want to. And our stand has been very clear that we advocate for the rights of our community, of people who use drugs, to be given alternative sentencing, to be given counseling, to be given treatment. And that's why we have done it from the national level to the county level. And now we are sitting together with the security apparatus to make sure that if there is any raid, if there is any problem within this community, we should reach out to them, engage them, and encourage them to be able to support the process.
Naomba wenzangu, hasa hao watoto wa shule kwanza, ambao wanataka kujiunga na madawa. Yani sisi tunasema, I wish tungalijua. Hata tufikisha pali yametufikisha, hatungekubali kuyatumia. Sasa ndio unaambiwa majuto ni mjukuu, ndio hivyo.
Tremendous efforts has to be made in addressing ADA to ensure country's social, economic and political stability necessary for attainment of Kenya's Vision 2030 by focusing on strategic pillars including demand reduction, supply suppression, harm reduction and coordination framework, legislation and implementation framework.
So to me, as a leader, I believe education is still the key. Of course, the ones who are already in, we need to make sure that they have gone to rehabilitation centers. We need to transform them, because there are a number of them who are willing to change without even going to rehabilitation centers. What they need is something to keep them busy. They want an activity, maybe an income generating project that can keep them busy so that they can forget that life of drug use and consequently the life of crime. So this is the direction that we are taking. And most importantly is we need to make sure that we have these vocational training colleges within our vicinities, because most of them, maybe they are past that age of maybe being in high school, but they will wish maybe to study a skill. They will wish to be in a college where they can learn masonry, they can learn carpentry, they can learn electrical, plumbing, and so forth and so forth. But because we also lack this kind of vocational training colleges within our vicinity, it has also become a challenge. Yeah, so this is an area that, and we all know that vocational training colleges, they have been devolved from the national government to the county level. So this is a challenge that basically faces the county government of Mombasa, whereby they need to make sure that we have enough vocational training that can be able to absorb the youth that will not be able to go beyond, not to go beyond high school or maybe university, so they can have a fallback whereby they can learn an artisan skill, which can be able to help them in future.
Key intervention will address the problems of alcohol and drug abuse, illicit drug cultivation and trafficking, and further take into account factors that predispose individuals, families, and communities to risk of alcohol and drug abuse.
The Kenyan Constitution envisages the safeguarding of all human rights, including right to life, right to better health, and right to fair trial. It's important for us citizens to abide by the law so that we can change the society. Peter Barak, Spotlight TV.